Committee on Parole is reconvening. We are at East Baton Rouge Parish. Today is Thursday, April 27th, 2023. It is 9:23 a.m. Would the staff at EBR please introduce yourself for the record?
I'm Lieutenant Miles, intake and release.
All right, Lieutenant Miles, thanks for accommodating us this morning. And we have Mr. Roberson there in front of us.
Yes, ma'am.
You introduce yourself. Tell us your name and DOC number.
Kendall Roberson, 494-251.
Mispronounce your name, Mr. Roberson. Mr. Roberson, here for a revocation decision this morning. I'd like to ask your counsel to please introduce himself for the record.
Name is Attorney Hunter Thomas on behalf of Mr. Kendall Roberson.
All right, Mr. Thomas, do you want? I'm going to read the allegations against Mr. Roberson, have him enter a plea. Would you like to make a presentation before or after our interview with him?
After.
Okay, all right. And your fiance, Ms. Stephanie Wallace, is also here, wants to speak on your behalf, Mr. Roberson, and we'll ask her to do so at the appropriate time. First, I'll read the allegations against you. I'd like you to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. You're accused of violating the conditions of your parole, specifically condition 2. In November of 2019, you absconded supervision by failing to obtain and provide parole officer with a valid address for where you were residing. Attempts to contact with you were unsuccessful. Therefore, a warrant was requested and issued. The last contact we had with you was in October 2019. Mr. Roberson, how do you plead to violating condition number 2?
Guilty.
And then condition number 3. Maybe condition number 4. Condition number 3, you failed to refrain from criminal activity, which is evident by your arrest on December 7, 2021, for the charges of stalking and simple criminal damage to property. The date of offense for these specific charges was on or about June 14, 2021. You were billed in the 19th JDC with domestic abuse, aggravated assault. On March 16, 2023, this charge was dismissed after agreeing to pay the alleged victim $500 in restitution. So you plead to violating condition number 3.
Not guilty.
And then lastly, condition number 10. Currently $3,510 in arrears on your supervision fees. The last and only payment received from you was on March 16, 2019 in the amount of $18. How do you plead to violate condition number 10?
Guilty. Can I make a statement?
We'll get your statement in a minute. So your plea is guilty with a statement?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, your case has been assigned to me, Mr. Roberson. So let's talk about, you pled guilty to condition number 2, and that's not maintaining a valid address. Tell us about that.
Well, I was homeless for a point of time, and then I got put out of my residence, and then shortly after that, COVID happened. I was having a minute with my parole officer then. And she told me to contact her once I got a stable living situation. And like I say, Corona hit after that. So I was basically staying in my car and hotel room during that time.
All right. What about condition number? Well, go ahead. You wanted to give us a statement about your fees. Tell us about your fees. Why were you in the rig?
Well, it looked like it says I only paid $18, but what it was I had restitution to pay also. So all the money that I paid to probation and parole, they put it towards my restitution first instead of my monthly fees. So that's why it's only showing up as $18.
Right. Well, so how much have you paid altogether?
I think like $1,000 if I'm not mistaken. I think $1,000, but my restitution was like 900 or so. So they took the remaining $18 and put that towards my fees.
So you're saying you paid on a regular routine monthly basis? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. I paid quite a few times, but like I said, they took that money and put it towards my my restitution. They said I had to pay my restitution off first.
Let's talk about condition number 3, the domestic violence issues.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened?
Ma'am, your fee cutting off.
What happened? We're talking about condition number 3, domestic violence. What happened?
Nothing.
Nothing. The allegations are false because they have me down for. They have me saying in June of 2021, that couldn't have been the case because no police report was filed until October the 12th. And then that report was for simple criminal damage to property. And then somehow they saying that the victim met with a detective in November of the same year. And that's where all that arose from. But I had no contact with this alleged victim during any of that time.
And Your Honor, may I chime in here?
Yes, sir.
So if you look at the affidavit for the arrest warrant, you'll see in there that the victim actually stated, well, in the arrest warrant, it actually states that the victim never witnessed Mr. Roberson commit any simple damage. This is just something that she presumed because they had some past altercations. So, and then if you also look in the incident report that was done by Sergeant Cook, they mention in the 4th paragraph that the reports were lacking evidence or details to develop Roberson as a suspect. So there really was no evidence to prove this. There really was no altercation from our standpoint, and the accusations were ultimately false, which is evidenced by the fact that it was dismissed.
And well, what about the restitution?
Well, the restitution was just the deal that was established at the time. Mr. Roberson had been incarcerated for about over a year at that time, and the DA and I were able to formulate a deal that we thought was in the best interest of everybody. So when I relayed that deal to Mr. Roberson, obviously he was elated to be able to get out, and if that's what it took, anything outside of a guilty plea, he was willing to do that.
And well, I will just say this, it's concerning. We do have some documented evidence in the record of contact with law enforcement that involves some domestic issues between Mr. Roberson and Ms. Shepard. Is there any contact? Has there been any contact with Ms. Shepard?
No, ma'am.
Since the last time contact with her?
And on October the 11th of 2021, or October the 12th, whatever day that the report filed. Because once I got my belongings, I left and I with my fiance, and I never seen her, talked to her, heard from her since.
Are there any other questions from my colleagues? Right, hearing none, we'd like to hear from Ms. Stephanie Wallace. Ms. Wallace, could we hear from you now, please, ma'am?
Mute.
She on mute, her speaker's not on.
Okay, there we go. Good morning. How's everyone doing?
Good, thank you. Go ahead,
Yes,
ma'am.
Ma'am?
Go ahead. We'd like to hear what you want us to know.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm very concerned about Mr. Roberson. I mean, we've been together for a couple of years now, and I mean, I just don't understand. I mean, I'm just waiting for him to come home because I mean, he's a good person. He has a job that's out here waiting on him. He had a job before he went in. It was just so much going on that he just was confused with everything, ma'am. Hello?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm at
fine.
work, ma'am. I'm at work and it's very, I can't.
That's okay.
Okay.
We heard you. We were able to hear you. We appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm just concerned about him. You know, it's just a lot that's going on that we just need to get clarified.
Okay. Well, thank you. All right, I'm going to ask Mr. Roberson before we ask Mr. Thomas's closeout. Mr. Roberson, is there anything you'd like to say to us?
Yes, ma'am. Well, like she said, I have a job out there waiting on me. Got a, nice supporting cast, my family on my side. I got a stable living situation now, so it won't be no problem for me to keep in contact and get paid up on my fees.
Okay. All right, Mrs. Wise.
So Mr. Roberson, the young lady that just talked said y'all been together for a couple of years. So how does this young lady fit in your relationships?
Which the one who just got on the one?
Yeah, she said y'all been together for a couple of years. So the Miss Shepherd, how does she fit in your relationship? What kind of relationship did you have with Miss Shepherd?
Well, that was my kid's mother. We just was co-parenting at the time, and
Oh,
what
okay.
happened was she found out that I was with Miss Stephanie, and that is actually what escalated all of this. She actually attacked Miss Stephanie at the gas station, but we never, she didn't speak on it, but she actually attacked her at the gas station. And that led to all of this, all of the police getting called and all of this once she found out that the relationship was over with, because in my eyes, we were just co-parenting. But in her,
It's y'all child that y'all have together.
the oldest one is 15, the second to the oldest is 12, and the youngest is 11.
Oh, so you all have 3 kids together.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is going to be an ongoing relationship. So you were staying at the hotel, you were not living with her during this time.
No, ma'am. I would come there and get the kids ready or bring them to school, because I was the only one with transportation. So I come and get them ready, bring them to school, sometimes pick them up from school.
Okay.
But it's not ongoing, because my parents run the middleman for me to keep me from, because I'm scared to go around or talk to her, because it could lead to another accusation. So what I do is I get my parents to run point for me. If I need to see them for a holiday to bring them somewhere, I get my parents to go get them and meet me somewhere with them, because I don't know, the turn what she'll go to try to get me in trouble. Because her words was that she was going to try to get me to back up my parole time. That's a quote from her. So ever since then, I've been avoiding her at all costs.
Okay. So since you've been out, you was paroled in 2018. Did you ever go back with her? Did y'all ever go back in a relationship in 2018?
No, like I say, it was a co-parenting situation.
Oh, okay, I just checking. I just want to make sure. Y'all, when you got out on parole, you did not move back in with her and your 3 kids.
In 2018, no ma'am. No ma'am.
This whole time you've been out on parole, you have not lived with her. You have given her no reason to believe y'all had a relationship other than co-parenting.
Right.
Is that yes?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Because only you can do what you can do, and consistency is one of the main things in dealing with, because she got 3 kids for you,
Right, and that was another issue with the lack. That's what ended the relationship, with the lack of taking care of the kids. You understand what I'm saying? When I came home from jail, I was seeing that my kids was being neglected. Their hair was breaking off. It wasn't being combed. They wasn't, my oldest daughter, she got sickle cell, and she was having sickle cell crisis every other month because her mama wasn't making sure she was taking her medicine. So that's the type of stuff that I was dealing with. So I'm really in the situation to keep an eye on my kids and keep them from being neglected.
Okay, are you making any kind of arrangements to try to get custody of your children?
Yes, ma'am. Once I get situated and stable, I'm trying to get her because my oldest daughter, she's had 2 sickle cell crises in the last 6 months from not taking her medicine.
So how many kids got sickle cell?
Just one, but
The
she
15-year-old, okay.
right.
All right, I get what you're putting down. Thank you, sir. I get it. Thank you for answering my questions. That's all I had, Chairman.
So I have a question then, Mr. Roberson. You know, there's several police reports in our record between up until October of 2021. And in every one of those, Ms. Shepherd refers to you as her boyfriend. Why would she do that? Why would she say that?
I don't know, man. My fiance is on is right there. That's the lady I've been with for the past years.
Okay. All right, Mr. Thomas. You have anything to add, sir? You're on mute.
Yes, ma'am. In closing, I'd just like to say, for one, the accusations are totally unfounded. His new fiance, they've been together for some time. She's publicly been introduced to his family. I've spoken with his family. They're aware, they know of her, they like her, they're comfortable with her. His family has always been supportive of him getting his children and helping facilitate him taking care of his children. And I just believe that there's really no evidence to actually support these claims that they've made against him. And that's why we got the result that we did in this case.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Thomas.
I recommend executive session to
We have-
discuss confidential matters related to this case.
Thank you. We have a motion and second for executive session to discuss confidential matters, and I do concur, so we have a unanimous vote for executive session. Stand by, Mr. Roberson. We'll be back with you shortly. All right, we're back in regular session, Mr. Roberson, and we'll be voting, and I'll be voting first. Mr. Roberson, I'm not so sure about everything you told us today, but I'm willing to give you a chance. You've been in jail quite some time. I do see in the record, there's not evidence, as your attorney has pointed out, to support some of the allegations made by Ms. Shepherd. My vote today will be do not revoke, return you to supervision. I will add a special condition that you enroll in and complete a domestic violence prevention program.
Yes, ma'am.
It's your own expense. That's my vote, Mr. Roberson.
Mr. Roberson,
Yes, sir.
I'm not convinced that everything that you told us today was exactly what happened. But I'm willing to give you a chance. I'm going to vote, do not revoke.
Thank you, sir.
You must immediately enroll in a 26-week domestic violence offenders program and complete that program.
Yes, sir.
Good luck.
Mrs.
Thank you,
Rice.
Mr. Roberson, I am concerned about you and your situation. You may be in a no-win situation as it relates to her, but I'm concurring with my colleagues, and my vote is to do not revoke as well, return you to supervision under the conditions. You are to have no direct contact with your children's mother over the period of supervision. And just let her know, I mean, no telephone contact, no nothing. Like you said, you're blessed to have your parents doing your parole, because we can't, speak past that. She needs to call your mother and father needs to call her because of your parole.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
what you say. Best wishes to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Roberson. Good luck to you,
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Mr. Hunter. All right, that concludes our business in East Baton Rouge. It's 9:48. We will conclude at 9:49. Thank you.